Welcome back, my name is Dak, and today in this video we're going to be reviewing a game I just played in a blitz game, 3+2, 3 minutes on the clock, you get 2 seconds every time you make a move. And I gotta be honest with you, I should not have won this game. I played as someone, 80 points above me, 70, 80 points above me, Alex Taran, who played a great game for the most part, made 2 massive blunders at the end though that cost him the game, and I was really lucky to pull this off. So let's dive into it. Let's take a look at the game, see what the computer says. So I start by moving my king's pawn forward to e4. Their response is to bring out their queen, or in front of their queenside bishop, the pawn up to c6. I respond by bringing my knight out, trying to do what I normally do, which is go for a Ponziani. However, the Caro-Kann, I believe this is called, where they're going to bring their other pawn up. I don't like this. It leads to bad positions for me because they'll bring their queen out early, or they'll do stuff, and it's like they'll bring their bishop down over here, and I don't like it, but it's what they do. And so I'm like, oh darn it. I should have bring my knight over. That's what the computer says the best move to do, but I have not played enough to know what I'm supposed to do, so I just take. Like a 1200 low-level player that I am, I take. Since they're only 1300, they respond with their queen, and at this point, I've got an advantage, fortunately. I mean, we were kind of even before, but with the queen taking, now white has an advantage. I move my queen out to protect my king. I've been hurt way too many times by that. But then as expected, this bishop is going to come down all the way here, putting pressure on my knight, pinning it, so otherwise I'd lose my queen. Again, the computer wants me to bring my knight out. I don't do that yet. I'm thinking I want to develop my bishop, get my bishop out, and they develop with their knight right there, their kingside knight. I finally get my bishop out there the way I wanted to. I'm trying to put pressure this way, trying to claim more space, and they bring their knight out of the way. Now at this point, I'm finally realizing, oh, my knight could come put tempo on the queen going this direction. I'm not realizing that I should probably come protect my knight and keep my pawn structure intact. So I decide to put tempo on their queen right there. At this point, we're playing pretty fast. They're down 15 seconds. I'm down 7 seconds off the clock. So we're still going pretty fast. They take a few seconds to move over, putting pressure this direction. At this point, I'm realizing I'm in trouble. I've got this pawn that is hanging. I don't have any pressure over here. It's not easy. I probably could have castled this way, but yeah, I would not think at all to move this pawn to put pressure. That didn't even occur to me at all. Instead, I move my queen up. My idea behind it is I'm going to get my bishop out and castle this way. Castle kingside. They decide to take. They take my knight. I respond by using my queen to take back. At this point, black has a little bit of advantage, but not terrible yet. They move their knight. At this point, it's important to recognize I want to take with my knight right here. I want to take. However, this king, my knight is pinned because the queen would take the king, so I can't do it. So instead what I do is I move my bishop up. Again, all I really want to do is castle. I'm nervous about this. I see everybody around. I see all this development. So I want to castle. So instead they take with their knight at this point. And so I'm like, oh, it was being protected by my pawn. It does not occur to me at all to bring my bishop over. That would be a great move. Bishop over would pin this knight to the queen. However, that doesn't occur to me, so instead I take with my pawn, and look at this bar. It goes from about even right here to massive, that's a 1, 2, 3-point advantage for black right there. 3-point advantage because it knows what's going to happen next. Before this move we were even. Now we have a fork. The queen is putting a check on the king while at the same time going to take my rook. If I were to move over, that would be rough because then it would come take my rook, I would be forced to move up, and then it could come take my other rook, and I would just have lost both my rooks in this sequence. So instead, the smart move is to bring the bishop down, which is what I do. I bring the bishop down. I still lose my rook. Ugh, that hurts. Takes my rook. And so No other real option here. I mean, I could block here, but then lose it. But so I block with this bishop down here. Now, the computer wants him to come back and keep putting the pressure on with a check here. And that's exactly what he does. Alex Terran knows what he's doing, follows that move. I mean, just huge advantage at this point. Up +6 in material. Time we're both doing fine on time. I block with my dark squared bishop, not putting any real pressure on. And they decide to develop their knight. Finally, I'm like, okay, I want a castle. I need to get my king out of harm's way. Nope, I don't castle. I move my queen back. I think the idea is I want to double up pressure. I was like, oh, if I can put pressure here or pressure here eventually, if I could do something, then I could, take the queen or force a queen trade. That was my idea behind it. And they continue moving there and improving their knight. Their knight now is putting pressure here and can come here to do a fork on both of these pawns. I move up. Okay, so my idea is I'm going to put some tempo on this queen, get it out of the way. I don't want it coming in, doing that, doing something like that. Moves out of the way. So now it's put pressure this direction. Again, I should castle, but at this point, castling's out of my mind. I'm kind of hit to the curve. I got punched in the face. I'm down a bunch of material. So I don't think to be safe. I think, how do I do some counterplay? And this was, again, probably a huge mistake, because at this point, it would be easy just to come here and create a fork. Boom, boom. But instead, follows the computer's move, puts pressure on my rook, takes another pawn, gaining more material. I slide my rook over to safety up front of the king, and I'm like, okay, I am going in full hibernation mode. I'm just protective mode. I've given up the idea of trying to win. I am just trying to get out a draw or something like that at this point. Again, they missed the knight making the fork, and instead they move the queen back up, putting pressure where they were before. I decided to move my queen out of the way. I'm abandoning hope. I'm going to go see if I can create some counterplay, go up this way. I have kind of left some of my protection. The computer wants to go there. I take back. That's what happens. I take back. So now my pawn is blocking my king, but it is very, very weak. It's basically hanging. There's no protection of it, and that's what happens. They check my king, and I've lost another pawn. I'm now down 8 points of material, and so I need to use my bishop to block. That's what I do. Now, the smart move, the computer's saying move the rook over to protect this pawn. I think they moved the pawn forward. Yeah, so they moved the pawn forward one space. And so my next immediate idea is to move there, trying to attack this hanging pawn, because if I could somehow get it, that's a beautiful looking fork right there, and maybe try and get some material back. The computer wants me to come bring the rook up, which I saw this as well, but I didn't know what was going to happen next, so I kind of ignored it. Instead, I just move. I'm like, I'm going to just take my time a little bit. I'm going to move my queen up, get up here, attack this way, slowly move in. They bring their queen down. Now that my queen's out of the way, puts a check on. So I have to get my king out of there, or I can block with my bishop. I block with my bishop. They develop their push a pawn forward so that they can start getting this bishop out, get that bishop into play. My thought process here is I want to get this pawn. I want to get in there, get this fork. I probably should have moved up here if I wanted to do that, but I thought it would be too on the nose. The other thing is here, I was worried about this pawn moving forward. If I had moved my queen here, this pawn moves forward. It's out of the way. Then I want it here because now it's pinned. It is pinned, so it cannot move. They put another check on me. I block with my bishop again, and now this pawn that I had is hanging, and they take, putting another check on me. I move my king out of the way, and all of a sudden this queen is blocking what I wanted to do. And I'm like, shoot. They develop their bishop, get their bishop involved in the action. you know, ready to, you know, take this pawn, you know, apply some pressure, do some different stuff. I move my rook over again. I'm down material. I'm 9 points down material at this point. And I'm like, whatever. I just need to start getting some counterplay going. They come down. They take my pawn. I should come here, protected, put pressure on here. But instead, I'm like, no, I'm not going to go out like that. I come up here with my rook, take a pawn. My pawn is, I'm just like, all right, I'm going to create something going on. And again, look at this bar. This is just huge. The time is getting better for me. They're down to 44 seconds. I've got a minute 40. I've abandoned a lot of faith in this. They are, you know, dominating this game, just completely winning. And so now they've got tempo on my queen. Smart move is to come back for safety. Instead, I rush forward. I'm like, whatever, let's get into it. I still have not abandoned the idea. If this queen takes here, and eventually I might be able to get the fork that I wanted. Unfortunately, this bishop is now gone, which means that if it moves out of the way, this rook would protect, but it was still in my ideas. They do. The queen takes and putting pressure on my king. I move out of the way. And so now, obviously that comes into mind. This rook is now hanging. The queen can just come and take this rook, and which is what they do. Oh my goodness, so now I'm down 15 points. They've still got 43 seconds, so they're doing well. I've got a minute and a half. I am struggling. I just don't have anything. And so I decide, let's go ahead, check. I do what I've been wanting to do this whole time. I've now put a fork on this queen and this king. And this is where the real blunder happens. I blunder, but fortunately my opponent does not make me pay for it. When you're playing 1200, 1300s, this is the type of stuff that you can sometimes get away with. They move their queen out of the way. Now, I could come here for a check. I could come here for a check. Either one of those would have worked for me, but I decide to go up here. Boom, this is it. I should have lost the game. The bishop can now take my queen. That would have been a big blunder. The game would have been, essentially over. I would have had nothing to work with. But because he's relatively low on time and had already moved the king once, he got tunnel vision and moved his king again, which is a huge benefit for me, a huge break. I could come take the bishop, get some stuff, but at this point I'm like, you know what? I've got him under check. I just want to keep him under check forever. So that's what I do. I come and I check. My hope was at this point, if the king were to move back to where it was, there would be a hanging queen and I would be back in business. I would have a real shot. This was like, oh, I lucked out. But instead they block with their bishop and, no dice. So I go ahead and I'm like, you know what? I am just going to always keep him in check. As long as I can keep him in check, I'm going to just do it. And so then the king moves back out of the way. And yeah, queen, come up here, just do another check right there. King moves out of the way, do another check right there. King moves back to where it was. And at this point, I'm like, hey, if I can get him into a repetition and pull out a draw, because he's short on time, 20 seconds. I've got a minute and 9 left. I'm down material. I'm down 14 points of material. A draw would be wonderful at this point. So I'm like, how can I get him into a perpetual back and forth? So if we did that would be great for me. Goes down, I'm back. And I'm like, yes, let's draw it out. But he doesn't want to do that, so he's doing something different. He's up material, doesn't want to draw, wants to win. And so, all right, I'll take your pawn and continue to put pressure on for check. And at this point, I'm thinking, oh, I've got a bishop here. If I could somehow get my bishop involved, I got something here. So I do another check. And I know this bishop right here, his dark side bishop is being protected by the queen, so I'm not trying to take it. I'm not worried about that. I'm just dancing around it. At this point, the computer wants me to come get my bishop involved this way, but I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm not quite there yet. So I put another check on him, comes back this way. Oh, okay, back row, getting a little something there. And so I go here, check. And I'm like, ooh, this is what I want. Back row, back against the wall. What can we do? And he comes in with his bishop. Oh, and all of a sudden my bar's got a little bit of life. And he's down to 18 seconds. He's got 13 points of material. I've got a minute. And I'm like, oh, okay, hold on. We might have something here. He's not made the best moves. He's already made a huge blunder. Missed a chance to take my queen earlier. So I come and I put in a check with the bishop. Now, This is taken by the hair. This is taken. And so he's only got two choices, 1 and 2. So choice 1 is right here. Choice 2. Computer says it's clear and obvious. You gotta go this way. You gotta get out of the check this direction. But again, he's not taking his time. He's only got 18 seconds left, and he's just moving by instinct. And boom! Huge mistake. See this bar? Look, right here. Watch what it does. One move moves this way, and it's completely the opposite direction. Completely reverse. I was on the ropes the entire game, losing just nothing. And then all of a sudden, I get a couple jabs, get a couple queen checks in, and I'm like, I don't let up on the queen checks. Just keep checking, keep checking, keep checking. Why? Until he goes into this, and it's one move checkmate. I move my queen, boom, checkmate. I'm protected by my bishop. Right here, the queen is putting pressure, takes there. There's nothing any of his pieces can do about it. Oh, what a lucky, lucky game. I mean, just not giving up, playing the clock, and just, try to get a draw, but then just keeping the pressure on check. I was very, very lucky at this game. And again, playing in the 1300s, this is the type of stuff you can get away with. If I was playing anyone more advanced, I would have lost my queen, halfway through. Would have lost much sooner. But anyway, that was the game I played. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.